Okay, so this is take 5. Let me try to fix this. There we go. Okay, so this video is going to introduce the good to great concept. The good to great concept is it's actually a book written by Jim Collins, and it is my foundation philosophy for business. I have other philosophies that I follow, but the good to great is the foundation of it. All of my customers that I take through my consulting business, um, I've required that they read it. And the reason why is because if you, in my opinion, it is the best policy to follow. It's the best format for your business. If you don't follow the good to great concept, you're almost guaranteed not to reach your potential. Not necessarily fail and succeed, but to reach your full potential. What is the good to great concept? It is the answer to the question, why is it that some people are good in their fields and some people are great at their fields? So you have some people that are just good boxers, and then you have some people become great boxers. You have some people that are good in business, and there's some people who are great at business. You have some people who are pretty accomplished in their industries, and then you have, or their fields, their specialties, and you have some people who dominate them. And so the good to great concept explains not what'll make somebody fail, but what'll stop someone who is already having success from dominating, from reaching the pinnacle, the top of their field. Okay. So there are 7 concepts, 7 parts that make up the good to great concept, and I'm just going to introduce them today, and then I will come back later and I will explain them in more detail in upcoming videos. There'll probably be 8 in this series. I might do a 9th one just to kind of wrap everything up. So we're just going to introduce them today. Okay. So Jim Collins, the first chapter of the book really gives a lot of he kind of tells you how he arrived at the concept, all the statistical data, what companies he studied, what companies he eliminated from the study in order to focus on just the best. And for him, a great company was a company that dominated its field. It maintained its dominance for a period of years. I don't remember, it was 15 or 20 years or more. Its leader, it continued its dominance after its leader left. That's an important part, right? Because it's not a company where it's doing good because the leader's there, and then once that CEO dies or the founder leaves, the company goes under. That's not a great company. A great company is sustained for a long period of time. And so anyway, let's just go on with it. So the first concept, of course, is what they call the level 5 leader. The level 5 leader is more than just a good boss. He or she is a boss who is well, there are characteristics. He has a company first philosophy. He is not a celebrity leader. Like I said, he's somebody who wants to build this company to outlast himself, to outlive himself. He has good people around him that he's developed who can take over when he's gone. He trains a successor. He's humble. He's confident. He's competent. Everybody around him admires him. They all look up to him. He is the type of person that draws the loyalty out of you. He doesn't require loyalty. You just feel yourself compelled to follow this person. I had a few leaders like that growing up. Well, not growing up, but in my career, where I have a Sergeant Neversum. Some of you guys, if you're in the military with me, you know who I'm talking about. Sergeant Neversum. Each time he left, I tried to go with him. You know what I mean? He was that type of leader that I felt like if I was around this guy, if I learned from him, I could be a great leader like him. And I've had professors like that. I've had martial art teachers that were like that. And so a level 5 leader is just the highest level of a leader that you can find. He is somebody that's got vision. He's a great communicator. Everybody around him Everybody in his organization understands his vision, and um, and uh, and they all work towards that same goal. And those kind of things. So anyway, I'll get more into detail later. Okay, so there's that. The second one is first the who, then the what. Another name for that is the get the right people on the bus concept. What that means is if I'm going on a trip, let's say a ship, right, instead of a bus, let's say a ship. If I'm going on a trip across the ocean, my ship requires a crew, and I need to have my crew before that boat takes off, right? I want to get the best navigator I can find. I want to get the best engine guy I can find. I want to get the best, even the all the way down to the cook and the janitor. You don't just get any cook. You don't just get any janitor. You get somebody who's the best one you can find, right? And so some people do. They just, hey, my brother-in-law, that's what our president is doing right now. I'll just get my daughter and she can do it. And, I'll get Ben. Ben's my good friend. I can get him to run HUD. Ben is a fucking scientist. He's a doctor. You know what I'm saying? That's what a get the right people on the bus concept is. You build your team and you get the best team you can have. Can this job be done just by anybody? Yeah, sure. But the job's not going to be done great. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I can run a restaurant with a mediocre dishwasher, but if I get myself a great dishwasher, that makes this whole system, even better, right? And so that's what that part is that you want to, and there's a lot of people who do that. They go into business and they have no idea who's going to be the manager. They have no idea who's going to help me with my business. Oh, I'll just hire some people. I'll put an ad on Craigslist and hire some people. You're not doomed. I mean, you're not destined for greatness when you do business that way. Get your team together and make sure you get the best that you can find, and you know how to keep that team. That's also important. You can attract good help, but if you don't pay them well, you don't treat them well, you don't prepare them, you don't give them all the resources they need to succeed, they're not going to succeed, right? So that's that concept. The next one is confront brutal facts. And there's several parts to that. Basically, you need to know everything that's going on in your organization. Some people, I know people that run businesses, security companies. I've been talking to a couple people about that. I know people that run security companies who don't even wake up till 12 noon. They're making $1 million. They've got a lot of employees, right? They have good employees. They pay them well, but they don't go in till 12 noon. And then at 5 o'clock when everybody leaves, they leave, and what happens there is they're always putting out fires. Why is that? Because uh, you, well, there's a couple of reasons why, but one of the things is you have to know everything that's going on in an organization. You can't know what's going on in an organization if you're not there, right? Unless you create an environment where your employees will let you know everything, even the bad news. If you have an environment where people fear to tell you the bad news, they try to put out the fires themselves, because they think they might get fired or they might get yelled at, things like that. You're not gonna reach your potential. Okay, sometimes you can have an employee that can handle things like that, but you want to have an environment where the communication is open and it's free. Um, the employees feel like they can bring things to you, and then they also respect you enough that if they run into a problem, they have no problem coming to you to tell you that. You know what I mean? Um, let's say you ever watch the Gordon Ramsay thing on YouTube? He goes into restaurants and he says this dessert sucks, this chicken sucks, and the owner of the restaurant has no idea. No one's ever went to him and told him, hey, this dish that you sell sucks, right? And they're offended and they can't believe it. And then here, you try it, and they eat it. They're like, oh shit, and they try to blame the cook. Hey, you're the boss. Don't blame that the cook, right? But see, that's what I'm saying about confront the brutal facts. You have to know if you're not the best. You have to know if there are things that need to be fixed, and the way that happens is to position yourself to find out these things. Put a system in place where you know everything that's going on, and then you also create an environment where your employees will openly and freely bring you this communication, bring you this information so that you can do what you got to do as a leader, as a boss. Okay, so that's that. I'll do another video on that. The hedgehog concept, and this is very, very important. You know what a hedgehog is? It's an animal that rolls itself in a ball when it gets in trouble. Uh, he doesn't. He's not big and strong. He doesn't have teeth, and he can, fight a predator. He does one thing, and that one thing is he rolls himself up in a ball, which he does it every single time. Nobody does it better than him. As a business owner, as a business, as an organization, you should have something that you do better than everybody else, right? And so there's something they within that concept. There's the three concentric circles. So there are three circles that intersect, right? A circle here, a circle there, a circle down here. This circle up here are all the things that you're passionate about, all the things that you like about this industry. You know what I mean? All the things that you know how to do, that you actually enjoy doing. In the second circle, it's all the things that you're actually good at. So there's some things you may be excited about. You may be, you like doing it, but you're not necessarily good at it, right? And so there are some things that'll fit in this circle, some things that'll fit in this circle, and some things that'll fit in both circles. The third circle is what drives your economic engine. What are the things that you can make money? Yeah, I might be good. I might be excited about the basket weaving. I might be good at basket weaving, but will I make money from basket weaving, right? So what I need to do is I have to figure out what is it within my business that I'm passionate about, I'm good at, or I'm the best at, and I can make money from. And whatever fits in that little circle is your hedgehog. So what happens is when you go into business, there are many things that you can do. Every industry out there. If it's karate, you got kids classes, you got adult classes, you got self-defense, you got fitness, you have, weight control, you have all these different weight areas you can go within martial arts, but you want to focus on one part or one or two parts that fit into your hedgehog. Yeah, I might be able to make money with kids classes. I might enjoy teaching kids, but I'm not very good at it. You see what I'm saying? Or there are some things like, I might like self-defense, or I might be good at self-defense. Self-defense will make me money, but I'm not excited about self-defense because that's just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So now once you've picked the hedgehog, that is going to be what you're going to build your entire business on. So there are fast food places out here that do a little bit of everything. But the fast food places that dominate, they have some things that are they're better at it than everybody else, right? KFC doesn't try to sell burgers. They don't try to sell. I'm sorry, I'm working, so I got to keep my eye on the gate. They don't try to sell burgers. They don't try to sell pancakes. They don't try. Those things make money, but KFC does chicken. That's it. They do chicken. They have other things that go with the chicken, but they do chicken, right? So they're not out here trying to sell, dirty rice and shrimp and fish and all this other kind of stuff. That's why they dominate. And sorry. Anyway, so once you've picked your hedgehog, okay, so no matter what it is, in janitorial, you can do houses, you can do office buildings, you can do warehouses, you can do places where there's hazardous material spills or whatever. But you have to pick something that is a niche within that industry that you can dominate. Otherwise, you'll just be one of those people that are just making money. If you want to dominate, you have to have a niche, or you have to have a hedgehog. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you pick the hedgehog. Okay, that being said, after the hedgehog, you want to create the fourth factor, or the fourth concept, is create a culture of discipline. In most organizations, there is discipline, but generally discipline is highlighted, is enforced, is pushed the most at the bottom. And the higher you go, the less discipline you'll find, right? So you take any organization, the entry-level employees, the lowest level employees, if they don't come to work, they get written up. If they miss too many days off of work, they're fired. But the CEO comes in when he feels like it, right? The manager comes in when he feels like it. The vice president just calls the CEO and says, hey, man, I want to go play golf today. I'll be in at 11. That's no good. If you're talking about building an organization, because discipline trickles down. So if the lower level employees, when somebody joins and all kinds of disciplines enforced on them, all the rules apply to them, but they see the rules don't apply to the guy up top, by the time he becomes a manager, he's going to lack discipline. You see what I'm saying? It may also get employees to not take the rules seriously. So, for example, let's say let's say you have a store and there was something that was put in place in that store that every customer is given a referral form and ask, do you have anybody you'd like to recommend to us, right? But then the higher level employees don't give that form. Well, guess what the lower level employees are not going to do as well, right? So discipline in the dominating industries, the higher levels have more discipline than the lower levels. Or excuse me, discipline is enforced more at the top and then it trickles downward, not the other way around. Okay, and that is what is meant by a culture of discipline. And there's a lot of other things that go with that. Okay, so that's that. Is that 4? Oh yeah, I said a level 5 leader, people on the bus, Hedgehog concept, brutal facts, culture of discipline, technology accelerators. In every industry, there are new trends that occur, which are referred to as technology. Maybe there are things like apps and computer programs and things like that that can help your business. Don't be a company that relies too much on them, right? You want to be a company that takes those new trends and use those new trends to push your business forward, but you don't want to rely on it so much that if that technology goes away, your business goes away. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to depend too much on changes and things that happen in the industry. You want to build your business on solid, traditional, reliable. Everything is always changing, but some things change slowly. You want to build on those things. You want to build on the ups and downs in business and things that are popular and fall. New trends and fads and all that kind of stuff, because you're looking at very short lived things. And so if the way that a business can outlast all the others is to make it through all those things, right? Let me think. What can I talk about? I'm sorry. I'm going off the top of my head, so I should have written stuff down. But anyway, I'll come back and do another video on that. So basically, you want to be able to outlast all the trends, all the fads, and they come and they go. And if you're relying too much on those, like MySpace, for example, right? If you build a whole business around MySpace and you have no other form of business besides MySpace, well, when MySpace fell off and Facebook took over, some businesses failed because they relied too much on MySpace. And that's what's going on with Facebook now. Everybody's on Facebook. You have to have something besides what's popular. You have to have something that you can rely on that's always going to be there. You see what I'm saying? And so that's that. Okay. And the last one is what they call the flywheel. The flywheel and the doom loop. The flywheel and the doom loop. And what is a flywheel? A flywheel is it's a big wheel with gears on it, right? If you know anything about engineering or flywheels, that it takes some energy to get the flywheel going. You have to keep pushing, right? A little bit at a time, just one click, another click, another click, another click. It takes a lot of energy, and it takes some time, and you really got to push. But once it starts going, and it's going slowly, but it's going, and then it starts to pick up momentum, and it starts going and going. Before you know it, it's going quick, and it's very difficult to stop it. That is the flywheel concept in business. In business, there is no such thing as an overnight sensation. Okay. Well, I mean, I take that back. There could be overnight sensations, but those are very short lived. You know what I mean? There are businesses that come out like that Bitcoin thing hit, and everybody was on it, and all of a sudden it just kind of fizzled out, right? That's what happens with a lot of businesses, that if they experience success too quickly, there's nothing that keeps the momentum going, right? And so the businesses that become great, the businesses that reach their potential, they took some time, they took a lot of energy, they took a lot of work, but they built their momentum slowly, and they built very solid customers, a very solid foundation of sources of new business and things like that. And then once they start picking up, they start coming in. It's kind of like a business that spends a lot of money on advertising, and they bring in a lot of customers in, and then when they stop advertising, no new customers come in. That's very short lived. But a customer base that's been built one at a time, and they're loyal customers that come back over and over and over again, and they're referring people over and over and over again, and you have a long-term relationship with them, they're going nowhere. You know what I mean? That's how you build a strong business, a little at a time. And what happens is some leaders try to find shortcuts because they're impatient, and they don't have the discipline to put in those tiny little efforts. You know what I mean? To becoming successful. Um, uh, Again, we're talking about discipline again, but the opposite end of the flywheel concept is what they call the doom loop. And the doom loop, is something you want to avoid. And it's where when bad things happen, you all of a sudden forget the whole plan, right? And you allow small misfortunes to lead to a series of undisciplined, impulsive changes, and that'll crush a business quickly. Think of some businesses where they maintain the number one spot, and all of a sudden here comes a new business behind them, and they temporarily get the number one spot. If you just stuck to your principles, stuck to what made you great, maybe tweak it here and there, excuse me, ride that flywheel and just keep going, you would have outlasted them. But instead, you panicked and said, well, we need to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? And of course, remember, that's their hedgehog. It's not yours. And that's how businesses go under, because they lose discipline. They forget about their hedgehog. They forget about the plan. They abandon everything, and they're jumping around from idea to idea to idea. And I'm pretty sure you've seen businesses that have done that, where they were just trying to maintain some type of dominance in the market, and they try a little bit of everything. And what happens is they end up doing nothing well. And in the meantime, the thing that they do best, they've probably ignored it, And I think of Denny's, when Denny's tried to get into the burger business or something? I can't remember recently. That was like, so when nobody paid, there was a lot of jokes about it, and nobody even took it seriously. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Just the doom loop is, again, it goes back on the level 5 leader, is that when something happens, you have the discipline to maintain focus. You stay calm, and you put a lot of thought into what you're doing. You don't just do anything impulsive. And because as soon as you start throwing in all these bad decisions that come in because of that one bad thing that happens, you could easily see your dominance in the market fall apart, or even just your business fall apart, period. So anyway, those are the concepts. I will do a video summing all that up, but I'll do a series of videos explaining each one better. I'll try to have a script or something where I can make these videos shorter. Look at that, 24 minutes. Okay, so you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later.